Hey there guys, welcome back to another Q&A. I believe this is episode 5. Hooray, we're doing this every week. I'm taking your questions and I'm answering them. Do this all through Twitter, which you can follow me over at Adam Kovic, twitter.com/whatever, done. After I posted this question, I got 62 questions to go through, so I'm going to try to pick out the best ones and get through these quickly. But screw it, let's go. Let's do this. Skylar Wittes, first up with companies like Rooster Teeth having their own events, RTX, do you think Machinima will have its own event expo? We've had some talks about that in the office, whether we could do that or not. I know there's a lot of hatred for this, but I think the COD XP is kind of an interesting showcase of how to do a new event right, because they said they're only anticipating 6,000 to 7,000 people, and we all know there's way more Call of Duty players than that, especially in Southern California. Expect low, hopefully you aim for high. Yeah, I would like Machinima to do some kind of event, whether it's Respawn related or just a big Machinima thing. It'd have to be something like PAX, where we just hang out and play video games. It'd be really, really awesome. Tixel Pities, what are you planning on doing for your 4-day weekend? Plans for 4th of July? Actually, I have zero plans for the 4th of July. Fireworks don't really interest me. I want to get through as many games as I can right now. I'm kind of behind. I need to finish Witcher 2. I need to finish Infamous 2. And I still need to finish Duke Nukem Forever. Blah. Scream Lover, what are your opinions on Bungie Aerospace? I think it's cool. I think that is totally what the Bungie mantra is. It's about remaining independent and creating something cool. And I think the mobile game development scene is definitely helping grow that industry. And I'm glad Bungie's positioning themselves in the place that they're putting themselves into. Lieutenant Sprinkles 003 or U3. How do you feel about underrated games, e.g. Crysis 2, being completely barren due to people going back to COD, Battlefield, etc.? Do you want to call Crysis 2 underrated? I don't know. I really enjoyed the game. I'm playing through it again right now on the PC with that new texture pack, and it looks phenomenal. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think the multiplayer was really as engaging as it should have been. And there's a reason why people go back to Call of Duty, because it's quick and it's easy and it's instant gratification for just shooting somebody 2 times, and that's why people want to play it. And I don't even think a lot of people are even playing Battlefield right now, but yeah, Crysis Online for me just wasn't, Crysis even 1 online just really wasn't anything that special. But who knows? We'll see what they can do with Part 3. June Werther, could you comment on whether you think the relation between the gaming industry and social media will be in the future convergent? It already is kind of happening with that. Look at Uncharted 3, how you can integrate your Facebook, and I believe Twitter was in the second one. But yeah, I would like social media to just kind of figure itself out sooner than later, because right now it feels like this gigantic bubble that's going to burst. It's like Facebook is the new MySpace sort of thing, where people are just going to get tired of this, or it's going to get to a point where this stuff is just tracking all your information, and it gets a little scary, especially with this new Google Plus thing. I don't want them to know all my emails. I don't want them to know my web history and use social media to do that, to market myself to other people. It just seems a little weird, kind of 1984-ish, whatever, it's the internet. People are going to track you no matter what, right? J-Miz, do you think Machinima will ever expand into some TV projects? I think so, eventually. Kind of just makes sense with the team we have. If you've seen the Dragon Age Machinima stuff, I could totally see that being played on Cartoon Network or Adult Swim or something like that, where, yeah, it's Machinima, but there's some damn good-looking cutscenes. I'm the Riffler. Will you come to England? I would love to. I love England. I've been there twice, I think. Maybe once. Yeah, I think I was only there once as a kid, but I loved it. I went to Cambridge, went to London. That is an awesome couple cities there. But yeah, I actually do have a plan to go to Ireland, start a trip there, and then try to make my way to Sweden or Switzerland. I forget which one. I get it mixed up. That's how American I am. But definitely passing through most of the UK, going to Scotland and England. And then maybe I'll sleep on your couch. That'd be fun. Vladdy K, which game do you think has the best soundtrack? Question mark, in your opinion. Mine would be, for example, Mass Effect and Silent Hill. This year, since I kind of think of games from year to year, right now it's Portal 2. That was a phenomenal soundtrack, and I think one that's going to get underrated and probably will be overlooked is actually the Fear 3 soundtrack. That has a lot of really good sounds if you just kind of stop and listen. It's really damn good. But I agree with you. Mass Effect probably has one of the best soundtracks known to man, and I'm really excited for the third one. Adriefo, do you think that the games industry could do with more creative games as opposed to sequels? Yes, of course. Kind of answered this last week. But just to reiterate, yes, there are a lot of sequels, but it's because we keep asking for them. And they tend to be good, and they're highly anticipated, and doing a new IP is a huge, risky venture. Cry4K, who inspires you the most in the video game industry? The two people who I really enjoy from time to time is Zero Punctuation, Yahtzee, and Total Biscuit, two English guys, who I guess maybe because it's their insane amount of confidence levels, I don't know, but they're both very good writers, and they have a very smart way of looking at the games industry, and I really respect those guys immensely. And I always kind of watch their stuff to be like, alright, step it up a little bit, we could do better than what we're currently doing. I like cereals. What games are you going to buy on Steam Summer Sale? I already bought Borderlands, which, if you've been following my Twitter, that's the second time I've bought it in 1 week. I got it when it was on Gamersgate for $5, and then Steam put it up for $7.50. That's the Game of the Year edition, so I just downloaded that again. Probably just end up giving away the Gamersgate one. Yeah, and I'm just going to probably... I'm debating right now whether I want to buy the Grand Theft Auto pack, because I kind of want to play through San Andreas again on PC. Skylar Wittes again. One more question. Have you ever had a near-death experience or witnessed a near-death experience? Not really. I've been in a couple car accidents. Typically not my fault. But so far I've had a very relatively safe life. Lazy Late Genius. How can I has Jorb at Machinimers? That's a good question. Really, right now the company is moving and growing so quickly that we don't really have a standard like hiring process. It's like, hey, we need this position. Who needs a job? Here you go. So there's no real way to just like apply. It's not like a clothing store or anything. But right now we do have an internship. We actually have an intern on Inside Gaming named Colin. It's actually a paid internship, so it's kind of a cool job. You got to start at the bottom, but hey, I'll keep you guys up to date when we're doing more internships, and if there's any hiring in certain positions, I'll definitely be posting that information here. KitKat Matt, what feature of Skyrim are you most looking forward to? Updated engine, unscripted dragons, etc. I like the fact that when you talk to people, you don't zoom in on their face and the world doesn't just pause anymore. Because a lot of times I would just jump in the air and then ask them a question and zoom in on them while like there's something odd going in the background. And yes, the unscripted dragon sounds pretty freaking amazing. And I cannot wait to explore that world, especially after watching so much Game of Thrones. I just want to get into more RPGs with that kind of fantasy element. It's kind of why I want to go play Witcher this weekend. Kyle Miller Kyle, what do you propose the new developers do to make Halo 4 better and perhaps reclaim some of the COD boys? I don't know, man. I mean, if you want to copy COD, that's kind of a lame cop-out. But I think it's sad to say the Halo era of reigning over consoles is over. For the longest time, Halo went unopposed to having the best controls layout for a first-person shooter, being on the Xbox. That helped with the different thumbsticks. I think because now there's COD that runs at 60 frames a second and the multiplayer is so addicting, I can't see Halo really reclaiming any of that. So I would actually, or at least reclaiming the multiplayer title, but I would like them to just make a really solid single player for once and do something that has a coherent story and, you know, makes me actually feel something when a main character dies. Like, I felt nothing when Johnson died. I was like, okay, whatever, he's got weird looking eyes. It sucks. Rivid Kid wants to know, why are you so awkward with female guests on IG Daily? Smiley face, heart you, Kovic, lol. It's not so much that it's female guests, it's just whenever I have someone on who I'm not used to being around. The last two guests, who both have been female, are people who I've only interacted with on a minimal basis. And so it may come off as awkward, but it's more of me just kind of being a little socially awkward around someone who I'm not sure if I could really push their sense of humor in the right way because I might offend them. And it's, you know, it probably looks the way where I'm working with like guys on the show and we can make a bunch of gay jokes and, you know, hey bro, ha ha, it's funny. Then you get around a girl, you have to be kind of careful of what you say because you could piss somebody off. But I think Jess being on yesterday, she was really kind of open to like whatever, didn't care about anything. And I think it didn't seem that awkward. It was just kind of funny. But she's also someone I've only hung out with a couple times at industry parties and stuff. So who knows? I mean, if you've ever seen the stuff I've done on the stream with like Dee, like her and I are really cool. We're good friends. So we have like a more kind of natural back and forth just because we just talk like we're friends. But yeah, sorry if I'm awkward around females or it looks that way. I totally apologize. Michael Idwanger. Thoughts on Call of Duty XP? Are they basically copying Blizzard, another Activision company? Yeah, it's funny that they're copying themselves, I guess. Even though, yeah, it was Blizzard's original idea. But yeah, Call of Duty XP. Very interesting idea to make a Call of Duty themed expo thing. Because to me, Call of Duty is this franchise that is like the Madden of shooters, where it crosses that threshold of like someone who knows what Witcher 2 is or knows what Borderlands is and goes into someone who watches Two and a Half Men and plays video games. Call of Duty is just that popular now. It's crossed that threshold. So doing a convention, I feel like you're going to get a mixed bag of people. You're going to have a bunch of guys who are hardcore gamers, and then you're going to have dudes who just watch football on the weekends and, you know, like to go to the gym a lot. So the paintball element sounds cool, and them remaking maps, like that's going to be a lot of fun, but also they kept saying compound over and over, like we're going to put you in a compound, and my inner Jew just got a little freaked out a little bit, so. But yeah, I'm interested to see. It's happening relatively soon, and I'm pretty sure we're going, so look forward to some Call of Duty XP coverage. Vacuuminator, what did you think of Transformers 3, and are you Transformers fan at all? I'm a huge Transformers fan. I grew up watching the cartoon. The guy who does Optimus Prime's voice is one of the coolest dudes in the world. And the movies suck balls. I saw the first one. I kind of walked out thinking, what the fuck? Especially with Linkin Park blaring over the credits. I watched a little bit of the second one in a hotel room during QuakeCon last year. I couldn't get through, God, I think like, I got through about 10 minutes of it. And I'm like, this is the most retarded thing I've ever seen. You got Shia LaBeouf at a frat party and some hot chick trying to get all over him. And it's completely obvious that she's a robot when the car, like, beats her in the face. I couldn't understand what the hell was happening. And it was just so poorly acted. I don't know, I felt like it was, I know a lot of people want you to just shut your brain off when you watch movies, but it was just insulting. I couldn't sit through it. And yeah, there's pretty effects and everything, but it was on a small TV, so what the fuck's the point? Manon 2, what headset do you use, and what is your favorite? Question mark. The headset I actually use an Xbox 360 headset with a wireless adapter for my PC. And then I have this Yeti Blue microphone that I'm talking to right now that I'll use for PS3. But typically I don't use a microphone with PS3 because everyone has crappy Bluetooth headsets. So I just get on Skype with the people I'm playing with using my Xbox 360 headset on my PC. Kind of confusing, but yes. Majestic Dougal, with Halo Anniversary, will you find yourself getting into it or just passively playing it? I'll be too busy with Skyrim. I hear ya. I still want to play. I mean, if you remember, Halo 1 is not the longest game in the world, and now that it has online co-op, you'll probably be able to blow through that thing pretty quick. Yeah, I'm interested in playing it. As far as the multiplayer goes with the Halo Anniversary, I don't think a lot of people know this, but it's just maps. It's not an actual multiplayer component on the disc. It's just downloadable maps for Halo Reach. That's why they're Halo 1 maps on the Halo Reach engine. They didn't really make that clear. I think they're going to be doing that at Comic-Con. But in case there was any confusion, you have now been learned. Frank Heavy West, what was the first game you ever played full on, and do you think it should be remastered? The earliest game I could even remember playing a lot was Super Mario Bros. 3. I remember going to the dentist as a kid. My mom said good job and bought me a copy of that game, and it was like $60 at the time. This is like early 80s. Or, I'm sorry, late 80s, early 90s. But the game that I played, the most, full retard, went just headstrong into it, was Final Fantasy VII. I think I did about 3 or 4 playthroughs, hitting that 80-hour mark over and over, where it would cap off at, 80 hours. But a remake of Final Fantasy VII, I don't know, it's just leave it as what it is, because I don't know if it's aged that well, and I don't think it really deserves a remake. Just leave it be. I would rather see another Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. BitMontrano825. What will happen to Machinima if Bill S978 passes? Also, who are your favorite YouTube commentators? I've mentioned my favorite YouTube commentators, like Total Biscuit and other guys like that. That's the only one I can think of right now. But as far as this new bill, for those who are not aware, this is something someone has introduced to Congress or something. I've been following it kind of half-heartedly because I think it's total bullshit. But they want to make it illegal to stream video game footage, which is counterintuitive to everything that the industry has been moving towards for the past 5 to 10 years. Developers and publishers actually like it, most of them, when you stream their video games, because you're marketing their video game for them for free, and it's word of mouth, and that's viral marketing. That's what they want. You know, they know gamers are smart people typically and can see past a lot of BS ads. So having someone like CNanners play Minecraft and get 1.3 million views on one of his videos is much more effective than, say, Notch taking out a $200,000 ad buy on a website. You know, that was free marketing. He had a guy even pay him for the game to play it and to get all these views, and I bet a bunch of you saw CNanners playing Minecraft and you went and bought a copy. That's just how popular this whole thing has become. So I can't even imagine this bill going through, because if it did, it would really mean the end of machinima, or unless we'd be exempt or something. But illegal to stream video game footage is just asinine. It's not the same thing as a movie. It's stupid, and I think the only developers or publisher that has any issue with this is Rockstar, because they don't want you spoiling their story mode or their single player, because, you know, oh, our writing's so amazing, we don't want you to spoil that. Like, okay, I can understand that, you can respect that, and, you know, the publisher and the developer always have the right to take a video down because it is their IP. But overall, they're very enthusiastic about gamers playing their games and talking about them. F_head, did you have another job before Machinima? Yeah, I've worked around. I was at G4 for a little while. I worked at another place called Channel M, where I did video game stuff, just basic video game capture, editing, and some light writing. But yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about my other jobs, like shitty jobs, I worked at Kmart for 2 days before I quit. I worked at Anchor Blue, that's where I met my soon-to-be wife, clothing store while I was in college. And I worked at Six Flags Magic Mountain for a very long time, because every kid growing up in Santa Clarita needs to work there at least once so you can learn to hate it and never go back. McLovin02, TT Games is making a Walking Dead game. Do you think it'll be great like Sam and Max, or disappointing like Back to the Future? I have no idea. That's actually a really good question. We'll be seeing it at Comic-Con, I believe, somewhere, or some people have already seen it somewhere, I think at E3. And early word was it is pretty good. And I hope it's good, because Walking Dead is awesome, and Telltale is really good. So, right now, I don't know. I want it to be more like Sam & Max, or the Monkey Island games, and a lot less like Back to the Future. Swindle4587, is there any chance on the Machinima internship happening anytime soon? It's already happening. I just don't think we have any openings right now. We'll see in the future, but I'll let you guys know when we're hiring. CL Bren, can I has PC specs? For the PC I built, which I just copied CNanners on his Amazon wish list. Yeah, I made a Tumblr page. It's just adamspc.tumblr.com. Go there. You can see everything that I use on my computer. I actually should update it because I just bought a new keyboard, a Razer. Wasn't really a fan of the Alienware one, even though I spent $100 on that goddamn thing. So, gotta sell that now on Craigslist. Fun. Chiliad8888. What have you learned living the life you have? Do you have any life lessons to share? Best thing I can tell you is just try to be polite to everybody you meet. Try not to treat people like shit. I know it may come off like that, like I'm a dick on my videos and stuff like that, but in real life, try to be respectful. Say thank you. Say please. Only speak when spoken to. Don't talk over people. And make yourself available. And always be willing to help someone who is in a shittier situation than you. You know, do good. Good things will happen to you. So just be good to your fellow man and try not to be a selfish prick. Tyrannical Grape, where is Critical Flaw Season 2? I've talked about this, I think, in like Season 1 or Episode 1 of Q&A. Yeah, it's going to come back eventually in some form. We're trying to kind of bring it back slowly but surely in the IG daily episodes. Like, it's a smaller skit within the show, but you'll be seeing something eventually when we get time. Caboose_LTD, do you play Magic the Gathering? I do not. Jake Bishop 94, what is your favorite PS3 exclusive? I like the Uncharted series a lot, but I think God of War, as far as just like a PlayStation franchise, is probably my all-time favorite. It's just from beginning to end a very solid game. And the PS3 version, God of War 3, was, I still think, one of the best-looking games of all time. Like, it is just gorgeous with the amount of stuff going on and just the amount of gore, and just play that first level and you'll see that the thing is freaking amazing. But we'll see with Uncharted 3, because I think that game's going to blow me away. Breen08, how do you feel about the importance of deep story in video games? Should we see more like LA Noire or more games purely for fun? I think there's a balance that hasn't really been reached yet that a lot of people don't understand. I think the consensus is, in order to have a good story, you need to have a lot of cutscenes, and cutscenes are very boring because you can't really interact with them. Someone tried it with Heavy Rain, and I think that just ended up being boring gameplay, in my personal opinion. But I don't see why we can't have a game where you're in a first-person perspective and be more emotionally attached to a character that, I mean, you're inside of. I know you don't get to see what he's doing from a third-person perspective, but maybe it's through the choices you make or something like that. I don't know how someone's going to do it, and it's easy for me to sit here and bitch and just tell a developer, make a good game from the first-person perspective with a good storyline. I think there's just a balance that we need to hit sometime this generation. I don't know how you do it, but I'm anxiously awaiting to see someone try, instead of just have you run from room to room shooting stuff. That to me is just kind of boring. I know it's fun, but it gets repetitive and kind of just falls asleep in your chair. The _, Joyoustin, is the Roxio game cap worth my money, or should I just save up for more for an HD PVR? I've used the Roxio game cap device, and I was disappointed. It's a good entry point for someone to use, because it's $100, it's a game cap device, and then it's also the software you could use with it. So if you want something that kind of is comparable to Sony Vegas, it's kind of a good deal. The problem is it doesn't cap HD, which is quickly becoming the standard for all gameplay videos, because you want your gameplay to look lovely. And it only does component, it doesn't do HDMI. So I would say wait until they do a version of that. If you really need to do some game cap though, like you're just bursting at the seams, get the HD PVR, go for it. AS Extreme, what game would you like to see next in Steam's crazy sales? I don't know, I want them to stop. I can't go back and play old games. I got stuck playing Borderlands for like, I think like half an hour to an hour this morning. I couldn't stop, even though I've already played through it. I need a break, but I'm probably just going to end up buying a bunch of stuff that comes out anyway and just backlog it and not download it for a few months. James Shenanigan, what areas of media could Machinima expand to in the next few years, and who will win the console war, Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony? Machinima expanding into other media outlets, so television, film, stuff like that? Probably not. I would like us to do more podcast stuff. I want us to remain on the internet, actually, at least for the stuff I produce, because you can get away with a lot more. I don't know if you've watched anything we've created, but God, the amount of dick jokes that go into our stuff is just great. And I feel like if we went on to another media where the FCC could oversee what we're doing, we would lose a lot of that, and kind of the appeal of what we do, the uncensored rawness of what we do, would just go away. And I don't want to lose that at all. And as far as the console war goes, I don't think there should ever really be a winner in a capitalist society where you've got it's a free market. You don't want someone to win. You want there to be continued competition. I would like, Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo to continue innovating and creating new ways to play their console and giving me a reason to own a PS3 over a 360 or vice versa, and then having the other studio or company find a way to compete with something other than motion control. That was like just a huge step backwards, which is just very aggravating and annoying. I would just like to see more of a competitive market, cheaper consoles, cheaper games, more bang for your buck. That's all I want to see. RXFFI, why do you think Halo 4 should have a name instead of a number? I think Halo 4 is a fitting name because it continues the story. Yes, it does, but from what I understand, the Master Chief's story was over at the end of Halo 3. We closed his arc. It was finished. It was kind of left open, yes, but now I feel like if we're continuing the story of Master Chief, it needs to be completely rebranded. It needs to be a new arc. I want there to be danger in a game like this. I want to be unsure whether the character I'm playing as is going to live or die in the next scene. I think that's a really cool way to just kind of fuck with players. And by them just saying, here's Halo 4, and there's going to be 3 more, I kind of already figured out the story. It's like, okay, they're going to be on this alien planet, and by the last game, they're probably going to make it back to Earth, whoop-de-damn-do. And it leaves less mystery, and it's just not as exciting for me. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Because I want Halo 4 to be awesome. So, hooray. Captain774, why can't Fable be good? I don't know. I tried playing part 1, couldn't get through it. Tried playing part 2, couldn't get through it. I'm not even going to try with 3. It just seems kind of boring, and when you have an opening cutscene with a bird shitting on a kid's face, and just kind of lose interest at that point. It's like, okay, that was fun. Bye. Exquizilviv, sorry for ruining your name. Because Microsoft is making so much money out of Halo, do you think they will make an unlimited sequel? Smiley face. I don't think they're making that much money. You gotta keep in mind, this is a console exclusive. You're not going to be able to, fight with something like the Call of Duty franchise when they're on multiple platforms, sometimes 3, sometimes even 4, and that's why they're going to sell 20 million units of a game, as opposed to Halo, which it's going to cap off at around like 6 or 7, maybe 8 million copies, which is phenomenal. That's great for a console exclusive, but I don't think they're making as much money as we think they are. iSpartan24, Kovic, how are you celebrating Canada Day, July 1st? P.S. I'm not Canadian. Gonna have some Canadian bacon later, and then just chug it down with some maple syrup. Kristen Will, after everyone is done milking this 3D motion control bullshit dry, what would you like to see come next? I just want to see more innovation in gameplay. I want to see games like Portal and Mirror's Edge and other type of games just becoming more of the norm, like trying different things. I'm getting a little tired of being in a desert shooting people. Getting a little old. Noobsaw76, which MMORPG do you think will be better, Guild Wars 2 or Knights of the Old Republic, and can they challenge WoW or beat it? I think those are going to be 2 completely different games. I'm really looking forward to Knights of the Old Republic because it's a BioWare game and I kind of want to play it as a single-player experience. But Guild Wars 2 doesn't have a subscription fee. So to say one is better over the other I feel is unfair because of how different they are. And Guild Wars graphically looks really cool. I like the art style. Knights looks a little old. It looks a little wowy, which kind of sucks, and the gameplay might not be the best. I don't know. I need to play through it before I judge. And I don't think anything's going to beat WoW. I think WoW will beat WoW. It's too big. You can't stop it right now. And I think Blizzard just needs to be careful about not cannibalizing their own user base, because now they're in a really shitty situation where if they did want to make another MMO, it would be competing with themselves, and they don't want to do that. But who knows? World of StarCraft or StarCraft Universe could be in the works. That would be kind of cool. But right now, WoW is just too freaking huge, man, and they're making so much money off that thing. Godshock Z, is the Machinima building in LA Noire? I don't know. I haven't played enough of LA Noire to do that. That was one of the games I needed to get through this weekend, but I forgot to grab the copy from the office. And chances are no, because I think we're in a somewhat newer building, and it wouldn't have existed at the time. Mozzie Joes, what and when are the next upcoming live stream events? Good question. I don't know. I pitched that we should do something for Bungie Day. I don't think it's going to be a live stream, but someone else has suggested that to me, and I brought it up in a meeting. So we might do like some kind of special video where we go online and try to play Bungie and do fun stuff. But I'll keep you guys up to date when we're doing more live stream business. Kabali's Pizza, why don't we see the gaming community collaborate with other YouTubers outside of the gaming scene? So you want people who don't play games to collaborate with the gaming community? That sounds counterintuitive, my friend. That's kind of everything anti what I stand for. I don't want people who don't know crap about games trying to jump onto this bandwagon, and you're already seeing it without naming names, but you see people who are like, yo dude, what's up? I'm playing COD. Yeah, COD. Yeah, I play COD. It's like, you're not really a gamer. My tattooed uncle from New Jersey could play COD, and he's not a gamer. No. I feel like if you grew up reading, Game Pro in the back of your math class, and yeah, maybe you're a gamer, but if you're just jumping on right now because you want more views for your AdSense or whatever, then just fuck off. Years wasted, milk or cheese. Believe it's the same byproduct. Edzor, do you think Activision will make any changes to the COD formula before it dies like Guitar Hero did? I would think not, because they keep selling a lot of copies doing the same thing year in and year out. And Treyarch even had a level where if you played on the second to last hardest difficulty setting and didn't fire your weapon, you could still get through it. So I think a lot of people like, levels where you're on rails and essentially you just kind of shoot stuff, and the less recoil the better, apparently. And as long as it plays like a Michael Bay film, it's going to just keep making a lot of money until, yeah, they're probably going to run it into the ground. Not now. Clearly, it's doing too well, but I would like to see something different, and my theory goes to Call of Duty just becoming an online game. I think they're just going to have one studio doing single-player games every 2 years, and then every year they're going to have 2 of the 3 studios just working on online updates, so it's just going to be called Call of Duty Online, and you pay a monthly subscription fee, and you get to play like all the back catalog Call of Duties, and then future ones that they release, but it's just through this paid service. Hato Xanadu, why do you think Activision decided to do Call of Duty XP this year and not any other year? They must have been planning it for a while. I don't know. And I think they're just trying to get the hype up for Modern Warfare 3. It's got a lot going for it, but it also has a lot going against it. A lot of people are still a little, weary of like, is this going to be a true Infinity Ward game since, half the studio is working over at Respawn Entertainment. And those were higher up guys who are gone now. A lot of the lower management stuck around to work on Modern Warfare 3, but also it's hit a lot of bumps, and development was slowed down significantly with the whole industry shakeup, and that game lost probably about 6 months of development time over that. So I think they're just trying to get this hype train going now, and they want people to play the multiplayer and get into it, and this is probably a good way of doing it, especially since they're doing all the ticket sales go towards the veterans, so it makes it really hard for anyone to like talk shit about it. So genius PR move, Activision, your move now. Blastrix, what's your favorite TF2 class? Are you more supportive, offensive, or defensive? I have ADD when I play TF2, and I can't really stay as one class for too long, but I will say my 3 favorites, Demoman, Soldier, and Pyro. I have, I believe, 10 hours each played for Pyro and Soldier each. They're like always neck and neck who I'm playing as more. So I just like to shoot stuff. Short answer. Six Souls, what is your favorite all-nighter energy drink? Rockstar Diet. That stuff will keep me up, and I think it actually does some damage to my heart. RXFFI, back again. Which mods did you install for Oblivion? I'm getting a new PC and would like to play Oblivion with these mods. There is a article you can just Google. It's like PC Gamer's top 10 mods to install. Just follow that guide. You'll get a lot of good stuff out of that. And I believe Elder Gamer, I believe, I'll try to post a link in the description, did a video of like their top mods to download. I would recommend trying those ones out as well. I actually need to go back and do some of those when I go back and play some of the DLC. Rano, American Dad or Family Guy? Aren't they the same show at this point? Techno Stanzik, what's your reasoning on why Activision is donating 100% of the proceeds of Call of Duty XP to a charity to support vets? Like I said earlier, so we can't make fun of them. Billy Bob JJ32, what is your favorite comedy movie of all time? I would have to say Naked Gun 1 or Airplane. Kyle Bruzelton, will Machinima ever go to the G4 route and be on television? No, I think G4 proved that going on TV is a bad idea. It's hard to market something to people who are on the internet all day. I prefer the internet. I watch most of my entertainment this way, and if I'm going to watch anything, typically it's through Netflix or some other kind of streaming service. I am just not a fan of television at all. I like on-demand, and I think a lot of gamers do too. So that's just a market you can't market to. So going that route, I feel like, is death, and G4 has been slowly hanging itself for the past few years, and it's only a matter of time before it's just gone or bought out by the UFC. Freakazoid, will you, /Machinima, ever do a podcast? I mentioned this a little earlier. Yeah, I would like us to do a podcast. We did a test one. I put Billy Shibley in charge of producing it. So get on his ass for getting more on us for doing one every week. I think it's possible, especially with our new space and our new studio. I think we could pump those out easily. And our last question for this week's Q&A is, why Nurse Names? Adam, what else do you do for Machinima other than host the best show on the webs? You're too kind, sir. So yes, Inside Gaming Weekly, Inside Gaming Daily. I also work on any of the Inside Gaming extended coverage. So my team does any of the interviews or previews or hands-on stuff that you could see there. And then we also produce a video game review, which is done by my team. We took it over not too long ago, and we've been producing all the videos since then. And the show has been doing a lot better, and a lot more people are watching, and we've been getting a lot of great comments from people that we're doing a really good job and doing a lot better than a lot of the competition. So I'm really happy with that show. And I also just kind of generally, this is kind of a weird thing, I would just work at Machinima, so if there's any side projects that need to be worked on, like the How It Should Have Ended series, I'm in all those writers' meetings. If there's any feedback the company wants on like a new upcoming idea, I'm usually in those. So it's just kind of a job with a lot of hats, and it's a lot of fun. I can't complain. Anyway, everyone, that's the show. Thank you so much again for watching. You guys are awesome, giving me all your questions. I really appreciate it. Tune in next week. We're going to do more questions, more answers. It's always a fun time here. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.